Hi, today we're gonna talk about how being too minimal can ruin your conversion, how to place the CTA buttons, how should you write the text on buttons, and how long should your form fields be. This is a weekly selection of the tips that I'm publishing daily on Twitter, so if you want to follow that, just follow me on Twitter right here, and there is also gonna be a link in the description of this video to the thread that has all the tips in it, so if you want to have more of them, just go there. The difference about the tips that we're sharing here is that they are tested, which means that we actually use them in a lot of different products and we evaluated if they even work. So they're quite different from those typical tips that people on Instagram steal from each other without really giving any proper context to it. Let's go with the minimal links first. Tip 1. Always underline your links. If you're going for a text link instead of a button, it can actually be a great choice. In some cases, a link can be identified as something actionable even faster than a rectangle with a label. But there is a pretty bad trend going on, especially in the super minimalist designs, to have the text links look like regular text. Sometimes they're made bold, but in most cases they just blend in. Okay, don't do this, unless you don't want people to click. Underline is now baked into our understanding of what's clickable, so simply always underline your links. If you can, make them blue as well, because Google has strongly enforced the pattern of underlined blue link in most of humanity, so with that color they work even better. Tip 2. What should go first, the main CTA button or the secondary button? On Windows it's the CTA first, on macOS it's the other way around. Does it even matter? This is one of those decisions that don't have a lot of impact as long as they're consistent. So if you go for one option, use it everywhere across your product, don't mix it up. But there is a tiny bit of more brain processing required when the CTA is on the left. That is simply because our eyes first focus on the CTA, which is point 1, then move to the secondary button, point 2, but as in most cases the main action is the desired one, so we return our gaze to the first point again. This is 3 movements versus just 2 if you place the primary button on the right. Keep in mind that this works for the left-to-right reading cultures. If you're designing an app for people who read right to left, the whole process is just reversed. Tip 3. And it works exactly the same with buttons stacked vertically. We scan along the edge of the screen going down, so if the CTA is first, we focus our eyes down on the secondary button and then return to it. One tiny extra step that can be avoided when the primary button is at the bottom. But there are also cases where you actually want the user to carefully evaluate both options. So if the secondary button is not cancel but rather a second option, you can purposefully place it in a way where you can make sure both will be given enough attention. Tip 4. We all know it's a lot easier to align uppercase letters on buttons, simply because they're all the same height. That's why many products use all caps for labels on the buttons. But did you know that they actually decrease readability a little? The longer the text on the button, the worse it gets. So you can use all caps for very short button labels, but if you mostly work with longer ones, use title case instead. Only capitalize the first letter of the most important words. We tested it in a couple of projects and the results are that people understand what to do just a tiny bit faster with title case. The action takes less time to be taken. Tip 5. This is an easy one. People hate filling online forms, yet in most cases they simply need to do it. So as designers, our goal is to make that experience as frictionless as possible. One way of doing that is to hint by the size of the form field, what kind of information belongs in it. Think the CVV code for credit cards or zip codes. If the field is short, it shows the user how many characters this entry should have. You can also use a nice placeholder text showing the format, or better yet, out of format dash in the zip code where it belongs. And if you like the tips, they're gonna be condensed into a 64 design tips ebook that's gonna be available for free to all the subscribers to Hype4.academy. So if you haven't subscribed right now, so you won't miss it. And that's it for today. Which tip was your favorite? Let me know in the comments down below. And as usual, thanks for watching, like, subscribe and underline your links. Always remember about that. Have a great day. Cheers!